since 1963, when they terminated the Bracero Treaty, which was in effect for close to 20 years. The Bracero Treaty was established in 1942 between Mexico and the United States of America to allow the Mexican laborer to cross the border legally, engage in employment, generally in the farm labor market, running as a migratory labor force, harvesting crops.
Right.
For, if you remember, 1942, we were involved in a world war, fighting a two-ocean war, and the United States government inducted 20 million Americans in the armed forces.
We were shorthanded.
We were very shorthanded, especially in the labor market for farm agriculture. So for 20 years, the Mexican national was allowed to legally cross the border, no questions asked. He came across, went to work for the farm labor, a migratory seasonal work, and they followed the crops north. Because when I grew up, there were migratory labor camps on the various agricultural businesses that harvested crops and used the seasonal labor. And it was seasonal labor because farming is a seasonal enterprise. You plant in the spring, you maintain in the summer, and you harvest in the fall.
And you nap in the winter.
And you work hard in the winter to get the equipment ready after your long winter nap for the spring. Now, what happened is in 1959, in a division of the American Federation of Labor and the Congressional, in the, what did they call it? The Congress of International Organization, the AFL-CIO, created a subdivision, Agricultural Workers Cooperative, which was the attempt to unionize farm labor in 1959. Well, the growers, the people that hired the migratory labor, really didn't have to worry about that because even though they had some success in early unionization, you still had the migratory worker come from Mexico who didn't care about the union. He was more concerned about putting food on his table.
Right.
And then along came Cesar Chavez, who established the National Farm Workers Association in 1962, and he was also out to organize working farm labor. But again, the growers were not too concerned because they had the Mexican national who was legally crossing the border, who would compete for the jobs that the union members wouldn't work for because they didn't get their fair wage.
Right.
Well, the AFL-CIO was a strong supporter of the National Democratic Party, who was to control the federal Congress in 1963. By golly, they terminated the Bracero Treaty in May of 1963.
No.
I believe May 30th. So on May 31st, all these migratory nationals who were working the seasonal labor fields for Mexico were now illegal.
Darn unions.
And the union now could, in fact, they struck in 1965 in Delano, California, wine growers. And they put a 5-year strike in force. The national
5-year strike?
5-year strike from 1965 to 1970. This made the United Farm Workers Union, which was the renamed organization by Cesar Chavez of his National Farm Workers Association, which merged with the AFL-CIO's association, created the United Farm Workers Union, and by 1970 they broke the back of the growers because the growers no longer had the legal authority to hire the Mexican national who was migrating illegally now to work the fields. And they created a problem. The illegal alien is a political problem. It's a human resource used by the progressive elements of both parties to wave the wand over the employers who are known to hire these migratory workers. Now they're attacking the employers who are hiring what they've been hiring for close to, since 1942. 60-some years. 70 now. Years. And the political class in D.C. created this problem, and they use this problem as their ongoing 40-year crisis to manipulate the will and understanding of Americans.